Shalom to the hopeful elect, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Koholo Yahweh, Koholo Yahweh Shai. All praises, infinite honor and glory be to our power, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakak Wadash. So honors be to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and like-minded elders to teach this word truthfully and in sincerity. Barakim La, Habayath, Madawadah, blessings to the house of David, which you brothers laboring day in and day out, giving all diligence to make your calling and election sure, and to the Akim and Agwaf that also make up the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, the hopeful elect. Unto you I say Shalom. Shalom be to the hopeful elect, and all praises, once again, infinite honor and glory be to our power, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, who is the God of heaven and earth, and his only begotten Son, our Lord, Hamashayat Yahushai. Sister Brother Sagalah, back another day, all through the Spirit. Adawan Ratazada's lesson is edifying, exhorting, and comforting unto the believers. So I'm going to jump into geography in World War III and what's going on in these last days and how it pertains to prophecy. The words that were spoken before that was going to happen in the times we're in now, as it says in the book of Romans 15:4, the things that are written aforetime were written for our learning, right? And the prophets in Jeremiah 28:8 that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries, against great kingdoms of war, evil, and of pestilence. So this is what's being prophesied by the men of the Lord, right? The Israelites on the four corners of the earth. It says the U.S. is dangerously close to being pulled into a Middle East war. Now, this is actually going to happen. This was dated October 20th, 2023. This is actually going to happen. I'm not going to read the article because it just pretty much touches on all the things that we know that's going on, which we're in the midst of World War III, great prophecy. So it says the U.S. is dangerously close to being pulled into World War III, which is all biblical prophecy, right? Which is all biblical prophecy. Now, let me show that that's prophecy. That was already written aforetime in the times we're in now. So there's nothing that can be done that can offset or change the words of prophecy. As the scriptures say, you can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. So prophecy is actually moving forth no matter what. It's already been foretold. Jeremiah 49:20, therefore hear the counsel of Yahweh that he have taken against Edom. See, this is what's going to come against the Edomites here in the last days. And his purposes that he hath proposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. So it said the least of the flock is going to draw them out. That's going to be the Amalekites, right? The so-called Jewish people, the Israeli people, right, are going to draw America, as we just read right here. It says America, or the U.S., is dangerously close to being pulled into a Middle East war, which is prophecy that they're going to be pulled into war, right? There's nothing that can be done that can offset that. It says the same thing in the next chapter over, Jeremiah 50 and verse 45. It says the same thing. Jeremiah 50 and verse 45, therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh that he have taken against Babylon. See, Babylon said Edom. Edom and Babylon are synonymous. The daughter of Babylon, the Edomites, the land of the north. All of this foretells that the Edomites will be ruler in the last days, as it says in 2 Ezra 6:9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. So Esau will be ruling in the last days. And the world to come that will be a uninterrupted end, which is rulership in the kingdom of heaven, will be the rulership of Yahweh Shai and the elect underneath him, right? So Babylon is the last nation that's going to fall, which is America. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. So the least of the flock, Amalekites, are going to draw America into World War III. And this all goes in line when you just go through the precepts, and we'll do that with what the Lord said he proposed against Babylon the Great, which is America. And that will be here in the last days. Isaiah 13 chapter is a good example of that. because it goes into prophecies about Babylon, as you see on the screen, a message about Babylon, right? The destruction that was seen by the prophet Isaiah and many others. So this is what the Lord has spoken against Babylon. Now, when you go down here in the same chapter, speaking of Babylon, it says Isaiah 13:19, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, which is America, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed with what? Was destroyed with fire from the heavens, from Yahweh. And that's how America is going to be destroyed when you read throughout the scriptures, right? So this is that burden, which is the destruction. It says here, Isaiah in the NLT on the right-hand side, Isaiah, son of Amos, received this message concerning the destruction of Babylon, right? So that destruction is coming here in the last days to America. So now let's go back. It says America, once again, is dangerously close to being drawn into world war. So these are the kind of articles we see on a day-to-day basis. This is dated October the 22nd, 2023. It says U.S. moves carrier to Middle East following attacks on U.S. forces, right? And it goes into the fight, the conflict between Israel and Hamas, and also Hezbollah, how Hezbollah, which is in the country of Lebanon, right? It's another group that's against they call it a terrorist group, but I'll just call it a Muslim fundamentalist group that's against Babylon, right? So when we go into the geography, which is always good, this is in the Eastern Mediterranean. Now it's often referred to as the Middle East, but it's the Eastern Mediterranean. Then we go over further east, right? Then you're in the Middle East, which I have another map going into that, but this is the Eastern Mediterranean. And as you can see here, Lebanon in the north, and Tripoli and Beirut is the capital. As you see here, this is where, Hezbollah, which is a fundamentalist Muslim group that's against Israel, which is right in the middle, right? It's sandwiched right in the middle. And then to the south, you have here, as you can see, Gaza City. You have Gaza. You have over here where the Palestinians are, which are fighting against the Israeli people, right? Who are not the people of the Most High. Now, what's so important about this is you see all the countries that's surrounding this area. You have Syria up here to the north, east, Jordan, right? Just east of Israel, and Saudi Arabia over here as well. And then you have the Sinai Peninsula, which connects Egypt. So most of these nations are pretty much Arab nations for the most part. You have the Persians over here as well, right? This is the importance of World War III and the geography, because we see through the geography where World War III is going to actually be kicked off at. Let me see if I can find I had another map. I believe I did. Let me just pull it up like this. See if I can find it real quick. No, Salakia. I'll just pull it up on here. And then you have leaving the Eastern Mediterranean, right? Which is we were just looking at here. You go further over. Salakia. Go further over. And then you see Salakia keeps messing up. We just do it like this. Let me get another one. Let's get this one. Boom. Then leaving from you see the Red Sea here in Egypt. And then going up over here into Iraq. Here we go. You see Israel here, then Syria, then Iraq. Then we see this is where the river Euphrates is at, the southern part of Iraq, which empties out into the Persian Gulf. So this is what's going on today, currently. I'm going to see if I can get a map with the actual Euphrates River on it real quick. Let's see if I can find one. You just do it like this. So like, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, this should be a good one. Yep. So you see the Euphrates River, right? Which it goes through the southern part of Iraq and it empties out in the Persian Gulf. So now we go back to, just wanted to touch on that, a little geography. We go back to, let's see. Let's go back to Jeremiah 49. In verse 21, the earth is moved at the noise of their fall. At the cry, the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. So the Red Sea is going back to ancient, the time when we were delivered out of ancient Egypt, right? And that region is also, part of, that area known or is in the region of the Middle East. It goes on to say, behold, he shall come up, speaking of the return of Yahweh, and fly as the eagle, and spread his wings over Basra, which is America. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as when a woman shall be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. Now, what's important about this, it spoke about the Red Sea here, right? And it goes on to speak about Babylon, which is the deliverance is going to be here in Babylon, which is America. So now the noise, it says, of their fall. What is the noise of their fall making reference to? When we go back to, let's go back to Isaiah 13, the noise of their fall, verse 4. Isaiah 13:4, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. This is all the nations being brought together at the time, the current time we're in. The Lord Yahweh of hosts mustered the hosts of the battle. So the Most High is the one that's making these nations join on, right, to fight in the battle of Armageddon, which is going to be near the Euphrates River. And we'll get that here in a second. Zephaniah 3:8, therefore wait ye upon me, saith Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. So currently that noise, that great noise, is the nations being gathered together, which is what it said here in Jeremiah 49. The earth is moved at the noise of their fall. At the cry, the noise thereof was heard, it says, in the Red Sea. So now, when we leave from there, just touching on that even more, it's also in Jeremiah, the 50th chapter, Jeremiah 50 and verse 45. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of Yahweh that he have taken against Babylon. See, this is against Babylon once again. And his purposes that he hath proposed against the land of the Chaldees. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. So I wanted to show you that again. Why is that important? It's the book of Revelation, the 9th chapter, starting at the 14th verse. And it reads, saying to the sixth angel, so this is going into more of the geography now, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. Verse 15, and the four angels were loose, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men, which is the children of the wicked. The sons of God, the sons of men, and the children of the wicked. The sons of the wicked is speaking about the Edomites. It says this was all set up to destroy and slay the third part of man, which we read about in Jeremiah, the 49th chapter. Ultimately, Yahweh is going to spread his wings over Basra. He's going to come from the east to the west to deliver who? The children of Israel along the way. And the biggest of that, or the greatest part of that deliverance is going to be right here in Babylon, right? Verse 16, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, which is 200 million. And I heard the number of them, which these are going to be the missiles are going to be shot, the warheads. Now, it said to slay the third part of men. But once again, it says these angels were bound in the great river Euphrates. Now, when you go back a few chapters here in Revelation, go back to Revelation 7, right? It says in verse 1, it says, and after these things, I saw four angels standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth. This is the actual destruction, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And it goes on to tell us that These four angels are holding back the destruction until the elect are sealed. When you go down to verse 2 and ultimately in verse 3. So it speaks of the 144,000 and then the 1/3, the unnumbered multitude with them. Start with the 144,000, the number that the Most High longest for. That's speaking of the elect. Start with the men of the Lord, the prophets. Now, so the angels are holding back the destruction. So let's go back because it spoke about the great river Euphrates. Revelation 9 and 14. It says, and loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. Now let's see what the word Euphrates means. So the four angels, right, are going to be loose. We're in that time while we see all the things that's going on in the so-called Middle East. Euphrates, it means the good and abounding river, a large famous river which rises in the mountains of Armenia Major, flows through Assyria and Syria, Mesopotamia, and the city of Babylon, and empties into the Gulf of Persia, which is what we see right here. See, from Armenia, it's all the way up here at the top. You see Armenia, and it flows down through Syria, Assyria, which is known as Assyria before, in this area, right? And then the Euphrates River goes through ancient Babylon, which is Iraq today, and down into the Persian Gulf, which is found right down here. As you can see on the screen, that's the Persian Gulf. Now, this is all geography. So, the great river Euphrates, which is where the Lord is going to gather all the nations. Let's get a few more precepts just going into that. This is the book of 2 Ezra 15 and verse 20. It says, behold, saith the power, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me. And that's what's currently going on. All the nations are coming together. The BRICS nations are aligning. Now it's said to believe that there's going to be in 2024, another 30 plus nations, or altogether over 30 nations that's going to join together to fight, right? To come against Babylon, which right now they're pushing heavily de-dollarization, which is going to destroy the financial systems here in Babylon and worldwide. 2 Ezra 15 and 20, behold, saith the power, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and Lebanus, which is Lebanon, to turn themselves one against another and repay the things that they have done to them. And that them is speaking of the children of Israel. Verse 21, like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also in recompense in their bosom. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh. So this is all prophecy, which is what we're reading. Let's show that further. This is the book of Joel, the 3rd chapter. And the first verse, I'll start at verse 1. It says, the nations will be judged. Judgment against the enemy nations. So all the nations are going to be judged. It says the same thing in Obadiah 1 and 15, right? And all throughout the scriptures, there's judgment coming to the nations. The chief of those nations being the nation that's ruling is Esau, Edom. And once again, the least of the flock are going to draw America into World War III. Joel 3 and verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations. So that's what the Lord is doing currently, right? Which it spoke about the great river Euphrates, which is where World War III is going to commence. And will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, which is Yahweh Judge. It's the place where the Lord is going to judge them, near the Euphrates River. And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, the children of Israel, right? The people of God, the 12 tribes, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. They parted the land of Israel, showing you the true Israelites are not in that land, right? Further proof. Now let's go back. Another one that comes to mind when you hear 2 Ezra 15. Let's start at verse 28. It says, behold, in horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east. And this will be the so-called Middle East, which what we have here on the map here, the so-called Middle East. This is appearance. It says in a vision from the east. So this is the prophecy, right? The vision that was given concerning what was going to happen here in the last days. 2 Ezra 15:28, behold, in a horrible vision. Why is it a horrible vision? Because it said in Isaiah 13, a tumultuous noise, Isaiah 13:4, of the nations being gathered together. Behold, in horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth. That it says that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Also the Carmanians, or the Carmanians, which are who? When you look it up, it goes into the Persians, which is the nation of Iran, right? They started being called Persia around the 1970s. Also the Carmanians, or Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion, it says, of the land of Assyria. So now this is getting into the destruction. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature. And if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power, it says, to persecute them, then these shall be troubled, bled, and kept silence through their power, and shall flee. Now it goes on, it's going on and speaking about basically World War III, right? The fighting that's about to commence, that we're reading about in the great river Euphrates. So when you go, now you see a lot of these nations, Iran, right? Speaking about the Carmanians. It's speaking about all these Arabs in Iraq, in Syria, the country of Jordan, Saudi Arabia, right? All through here. Once again, the Palestinians, the Lebanese, all these nations, Turkey, all these nations are going to be a part of World War III, because it also says the same thing when you read, I don't want to get it, but in the book of Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, and it speaks about Russia, the role that Russia plays. Now, all right, let's see if I want to get anything else. Yeah. So now when you touch on this, I think I touched on everything I wanted to get on. I didn't want to make this a, incredibly long video, but it speaks about how, these nations, and when you tie the geography in and you see where World War III is going to be, you see how the nations, right, that are aligned against the nation of Israel, how that's drawing America into World War III, right? So with that, I pray that this lesson was edifying, exhorting, and comforting unto the believers. I want to give all praises, infinite honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, call hello Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. All praises, infinite honor, and glory be to our power, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, who's the God of heaven and earth, and his only begotten Son, Hamashayak Yahweh Shai. Honors be to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and like-minded elders to teach this word truthfully and in sincerity. Barakim La, Habayath, Madawada, blessings to the house of David, which you brothers laboring day in and day out, giving all diligence to make your calling and election sure, helping seal the elect of the nation of Israel, for the return of our Lord Hamashayak Yahweh Shai is at hand, and to the Akim Wa Agwath, brothers and sisters that also listen and believe on the glorious gospel being preached. Unto you I say, Shalom.